Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another EldaCast Gamer Spotlight. Today, joining me is my good friend Mischo. Mischo, say hi.
Hello.
Uh, Mischo is another good friend like last week with Jaime, so I thought, why not bring another one of my good friends in? So, Mischo, tell us a little about yourself.
I'm not really sure what to say, but I've been playing video games for a long time. My first console was the Dreamcast, so
Taking it
I
real
guess
back.
yeah.
Well, mine was a Super Nintendo, or at least playing on a little bit, right behind the N64. You're just taking it back. Let's just go back to the Dreamcast. Alright. So, Mischo, what does gaming mean to you?
It means a lot of things. Like, I mean, growing up, it was like a great way to kind of just hang out with the family and just have fun. And then as you get older, life gets harder, and it became a way as like a therapy and kind of just to escape reality for me.
Mm-hmm. Just to
And
chill, relax, have a little bit of competitiveness.
yeah, and that was kind of like when I started exploring like different genres, and then like now it's the kind of same thing, kind of just relaxing, but also connecting with
Mm-hmm.
people that a lot of friends and family that are out of town and whatnot, and it's just a way to reconnect with people.
Mm-hmm. Especially with like us with the Pretty Pink Posse. Now we're pretty much in four or five separate towns, living our own lives. It's like, let's just get on a game and let's have fun, guys.
Yeah, because it's kind of hard enough to get together and meet up like once a year, because sometimes there's always at least one or two that can't make it, but
Yeah.
for the most part we can all get online together and hang out and have
Mm-hmm.
fun.
It's not like the good old days where, okay, guys, every Thursday we're just gonna have a game night. Come over to
Yeah,
Jaime's, my house, or something, and we're just gonna play it up for till well
yeah, that.
my bedtime 3 or you guys. I'm getting up at 7 to go to work. You guys are still freaking up.
Oh yeah, we playing Magic. Ah, man, it was good old days. See, and
Yeah.
that's the other thing too is like I don't even have anyone to play Magic with except my younger cousin, but like now he's just graduated high school, so he's trying to this
Focus on
educational
that.
thing.
School, college, going
Yeah.
away now.
Yeah,
Soon
so
enough,
I
he'll
don't
be
get to
gone.
yeah, so I don't get to see him as often.
Mm-hmm. Think
He's
about it.
like the only other one that I can play with over
Mm-hmm. Think about it. It's been 6 long years, Misha. Six
here. I know.
long years.
Hey, but you know what? I'm still buying new cards and I'm still making new decks.
Hey, why
Thanks
not?
to you, you taught me. You taught me.
You came with a little magic experience before we all started playing. It
Yeah, I
was
mean,
you and me that had the experience.
I was
Misha or
mostly a
Mario
collector
and Jaime.
though.
True, true. I guess yeah. I'm the only one with a little bit of competitive background with my family and stuff of Magic, and then
Yeah.
bring you guys in. It's like, okay, now I have competition, local people I can play with. But get on Magic the Gathering Arena. I've been playing quite a bit of that ever since.
I
Not
want to.
not to mention it's
I
free.
I have it downloaded. I just never started playing it because I like I kind of wish there was like a system, at least a part of that they could add where I mean, maybe this is. I mean, I could see the flaw in this just because it could definitely people could definitely take advantage of it. But like, I just wish I could also scan my cards that I have collected so far and then
Mm-hmm.
kind of upload it to the game because I don't want to have to because like all the cards that I have, some of them I've specifically ordered because
Yeah.
I wanted to try different mechanics with them.
Yeah.
But
It sounds
a lot of
more
them.
like you would be better with Magic the Gathering Online because they have all the old cards. Plus, Jaime had a website where you can get cards for like pennies on the dollar.
Oh, I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
but Magic the
Yeah,
Gathering Arena is just all new cards, just all
yeah,
the new
because
sets, competitive. They're actually throwing more money or all their esports money into Arena, not
and
online anymore.
and that's a tournament format, right?
For the most part, it's all one-on-one duels, 1v1.
Okay.
Um, it seemed like they might eventually try and do a little multiplayer, but it hasn't seemed it just yet. They're putting in game modes. I haven't played in a few months, but yeah, it's just all new cards. You can get everything for free. I was drawing packs. I got like two of the biggest mythic rares in like 3 packs.
Oh
Within three
wow.
packs. The Ugin and the new Teferi.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause like I don't like the idea. I mean, I'm just a little hesitant 'cause of the idea of
Starting over.
collecting all those cards again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But
even though it's digital, like still it's
but at
I don't
least
know.
this way it'd be free.
Yeah.
And not
Yeah.
to
I mean,
mention, you don't have to worry about I have no one to play. Just go on ladder. You
yeah,
always
that's
have someone to play.
true.
You
I
always
mean,
have.
I'll
And
eventually
then
get it's still here. Like I'll eventually get there. I just
let's play a little bit after this. You already have it downloaded. Me and Mario play every now and then.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think I played with Jaime on that one. I don't think. Well, Jaime has been mainly Rocket League if he ever does play. He was saying last week that
Yeah, he's nearly
he wanted to do
non-existent.
more RPGs. I told him to get on Star Wars. I haven't finished Star Wars. How was that? Did you ever finish
Oh,
it?
the
The new
Old
one?
Republic one?
No, not Old Republic, not the MMO, but the new single
Oh,
player.
Fallen Order?
Yeah, that one.
Oh man. Okay. So like I
Spoiler,
love that
everyone, in
game.
case he does spoilers.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna do my best because I've been working on that because my brother gets really pissed at me with that too because whenever I talk to him about a certain game
It's like
and
spoilers,
like
damn it, spoilers.
yeah and I forget and I'm just like I'm sorry man like you asked and I'm just like I'm just trying to answer your question
Yeah,
I'm sorry
that's why I
but
did the big spoiler right here.
yeah just in case okay no so like that game is really cool it I'm trying to it kind of it scratched a long prolong like a long itch that I've had for a long time when it came to Star Wars, especially Star Wars games, because
Mhm.
like that's kind of why I'm on and off with the MMO, the Old Republic,
Yeah.
because
Well, Bioware's not as story driven as they were in the beginning of it. They realized how
yeah,
much money it was for everything. That's why they
oh yeah,
put it from 2 factions into one.
oh yeah, yeah, and like I just want to like I want to wield a lightsaber and use some force powers and just fuck shit up.
Hmm.
And that did it and that and the combat I mean it wasn't just a hack and slash either which
Yeah,
was really cool
it's actually
it
kind of tough. Like
yeah
I
it's
play
it
it on normal mode, and it's like I'm still getting my ass beat.
yeah no
I
yeah
don't
and
want to
that's
play it
what's
on
cool
story mode where okay, I'm just breezing through it, but I at least
no
want a
yeah
little bit of a
it
challenge.
gives you that challenge and it was really I liked it and like I started a new playthrough on
Hmm.
the harder difficulty and it's funny because um the first like hard enemy that you face in the beginning is a giant toad
Oh yeah, the toad
and
kicks
there's
my
like there's a
butt
certain
so much. I ended up putting on story just to beat him, and then bumped it back up.
yeah and so like playing it on that hard on the hardest
Hmm.
one I forget what it's called but playing it on that hardest one it's
The
just
I think
fighting that one
Grandmaster.
took me an hour and I was repeatedly dying and getting and taking back my
Getting
XP and I'm just like
frustrated.
give me that back that's mine and
Get over here.
so like I mean it's gonna take me forever but anyways yeah, like the combat is just it's nice it's very strategic it
Mhm.
pushes you to not hack and slash because if you hack and slash you're definitely gonna get frustrated
Oh
you're
yeah.
not gonna get anywhere
Oh yeah, I found
and
that out too. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just try and button mash to see if this works. And I'm like,
that's
it gets
exactly
you
my
so
thought too
far. It gets you so far, but it won't get you everywhere.
yeah
It,
yeah and
answer
then
this for me, Misha. For me, it felt like a cross between like an action RPG, almost Dark Souls, but also almost a platformer like Crash or and stuff. It felt like a
oh no yeah
or Mario, like Super Mario World, or
yeah,
it felt like a
it's
platform.
definitely no, yeah, it's definitely an interesting blend of those. Because like as far as like the difficulty and the challenges in the combat, that was definitely like that Dark Souls feel.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course with all the puzzles and just trying to get to the other areas that that was where like if it had that platform feel.
Mm-hmm.
And that was and that was kind of cool too. It was a nice little blend of both of them and like the story was really nice. The story was cool, and learning and some of the lore and seeing some mentions.
Hmm.
about some characters from that universe was really
The
cool.
little Easter eggs here and there.
Yeah, and I was like, that's dope, and like that, I'm hoping that that, because I know like with Star Wars that they're starting to bring together a lot of the spin-offs and kind of cross
Hmm.
them at the very least, and I'm hoping that they'll do that with the game and that they'll cross it with some of the stuff from the TV,
Yeah,
from TV and the movies, which
maybe
would
a
be
bit, which would
nice
actually
touch.
would be really cool. But of course,
Yeah.
these three numbered movies were just eh to me.
Yeah, like
They've
there
let
was only
allow
certain parts that I liked about it.
they did really outplay some of the old tropes. Some felt a lot like, especially A New Hope for Episode 7 when it came out, and then
Oh
I
yeah.
felt like some characters would just piss me off when they were on screen, like Poe.
Yeah.
Poe just gets under my skin, and then
the
um
so like the only moment I liked from Poe was his like fighter pilot debut in was it the First Awakens, or it was the first one in the trilogy?
yeah, the Force
Um
Awakens.
where yeah, they're at Maz's palace and then he goes on like an 11 kill streak in that thing. I was like, that was amazing. After that, I was just like, dude, this is
Then he opened his
insubordination,
mouth.
bro. Yeah.
Then he opened his
Like,
mouth. Stick to
yeah.
shooting the gun in the pilot seat, please.
Yeah, I was kind of yeah, like that was like my high moment for him, and then after that, he kind of just plateaued for
Hmm.
me.
And then Finn also annoyed me, just the way he not the way he talked, but how they wrote him, and he felt
Yeah,
useless.
they kind of robbed. They definitely. I feel like they robbed him because starting out, like I was really excited.
It
I
was
was
a cool
really excited.
concept. Oh, a stormtrooper is gonna flee the stormtroopers type of thing.
Yeah, and that's what I think that's like the first time they've ever even done that, at least on screen, right? You know,
Yeah,
where
the first time they showed
uh,
a face of a stormtrooper and
yeah,
gave
and then he
them any
defects.
little bit of a backstory for the most part,
Yeah,
outside the books, of course. Because if you
yeah,
read the
and then
books,
oh
there's
no,
like
yeah,
um,
there's
a little bit
kinds
of
of stuff in
Tarkin,
there.
a little bit of the what's it called the Thrawn books gives you a little insight in it into like the Academy life a little bit, which is actually
Okay,
kind of
I
cool.
haven't read that one, but as
There's like
I heard,
three
there's like of course so much
Thrawn
in there.
books, but yeah, you definitely got to check those out. But yeah,
I know
they.
I have some of them like wish listed.
Mhm.
But like I was what like also got me super excited about Finn was because I had high hopes for him. I was super
Mhm.
excited. It was when he picked up the lightsaber and he was like, "All right, let's go, Kylo." I was just like, "This is gonna be awesome." And like it like hinted, even the poster for the movie hinted like him possibly being
Kind of
Jedi, and I
cool.
was just like, "Dude, that's awesome. Like I'd love that idea. Like
Yeah.
let's do it."
You
And
know how
then
in the last movie where he kept trying to tell Ray something, but they kept making it ambiguous, and then they showed him having like a little bit of force connection when Leia died or some other stuff.
yeah,
Um,
I was like
they
super
said
disappointed.
actually in like a post movie interview that the secret was, or what he was trying to tell her is that he is force sensitive. It's like,
Yeah,
why didn't
I
you say
read that.
that? Why didn't you add a little bit more to it? I think they just went too fast, tried to cram too much into the three movies, and it just all dwindled out. Like it's
No,
like this
yeah,
all fizzled out.
yeah, but I think what kind of and see like, cause like, see, there's like so, so like what I think kind of messed up the momentum, um, was the Last Jedi because it wasn't JJ, it was Rian Johnson.
Yeah.
And his met and from what I read of why he did the movie what he did, was his reasoning was because he wanted to convey a message that anybody can be a Jedi and you
Hmm.
don't have to be from some special lineage like the Skywalkers or
Yeah.
whatever. But like
Which actually
to
is a kind of
me,
cool concept, but it muddled the
well,
story quite a bit.
yeah, no, yeah, the way he, I mean, the flow and what he did kind of, I think, ruined the momentum. But
Yeah.
like, for me, the way that I don't know, for me, I was like. my understanding, or I guess my perception of it was a bit redundant because in the prequels, everybody like there was already hella people that were Jedis, and none of
Mm-hmm.
them were really special. Because yeah, there. I mean, if you look at just Skywalker and that line, like that's a special line, and if you focus on
Yeah.
that, then yeah, it looks like you have to be something special to be a Jedi.
Yeah.
But if you go farther back, that wasn't the case. There was
Mm-hmm.
so many different people from different backgrounds that were Jedi,
Yeah.
and I was just like, okay, he's trying, and to me, it was like he was trying to convey a message that was a bit redundant because it was that message was already conveyed with the prequels,
Yeah.
and not only the prequels, but of course with the television series, the Clone Wars, and you can see
Yeah. I didn't
all
watch
these
that.
younglings, Padawans, and they all had different backgrounds, and they weren't from a special lineage. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why, man? Like I don't understand because that has already been touched on, and like I feel like the fan base already understands that,
Yeah.
and so I feel like his message was a bit redundant,
Mm-hmm.
and it definitely ruined
Well,
the
he had
flow.
the idea I thought going in or coming out of the last movie was they focused too much on family lineage this series of movies.
Oh, definitely, but I like and I
So he
get
actually
and
had that thought, but he portrayed it terribly. He he saw the flaw in this trilogy, which was oh the Palpatine and the well, it ended up being the Palpatine and also the Skywalker lineage, which was like okay, this is tiresome.
yeah, I just didn't like the idea that because like if they had JJ just do all three,
Mm-hmm.
that would have been great. And like if they wanted to give Rand his own movie so he can do that message, like then let's do it, but let's give him his own trilogy or something, and not
Yeah.
just give him one movie out of out of three, because I mean, because JJ and Rand, they both clearly had different, they wanted to do different things,
Mm-hmm.
and I think just giving him that one movie kind of just like I think it kind of just killed those three movies.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that you kind of get when you have different directors and not like a solid game plan on the story. At least with like the
Yeah,
Harry Potter movies, they had like four different directors, 4 or 5 or so different directors, but they
they
all
were
had
all
the
on the same
same game
page.
plan to where
Yeah,
it's
they're
like
on the
okay, they all have like different cinematic styles, this darker tones, this that, but they stayed on the same story plan because of the story. It wasn't like okay, your interpretation of this, your interpretation of that, in general,
yeah.
without like a solid game plan, which was
I
these
mean, yeah,
movies.
and like when everyone's on the same page, then everything works out.
Yeah,
But like
or someone
again, like
controlling the plot. It's like no, you can't do this. It's like okay, great, you wanted to do this message, but you have to do it that fits this mold or this story.
yeah,
They didn't really have
yeah,
that like the story master that they kind of needed.
yeah, they should have.
They
Yeah,
kind of needed a
and that
story
was
master.
yeah. Like, and I'm like, cool. Like, if he wants to convey that, like, I have nothing against it. And you know what? In like today's world, I mean, it's something we need.
Yeah,
Especially for the young kids. But like, give him his own trilogy.
I feel like the kids
Well,
just getting into Star Wars and young Star Wars fans kind of got robbed with this trilogy because it wasn't good
Yeah,
at all. I have
especially
friends
for the
that saw the movies outside of a big Star Wars fandom like we are, and they
Mhm.
love the movies. But I'm like, if you were a bigger Star Wars fan, or and you actually knew a bunch of stuff like with the movie, with the books, with the TV shows, because their knowledge of Star Wars is just the movies, basically, and which is
yeah.
much. And if you have just the movies, okay, then you're gonna actually like the movies. But if you have more of a deeper knowledge, you're gonna be upset. You're gonna be disappointed.
Oh, definitely. And like for me, like I don't remember which one. I mean, like it's obviously gonna be like number. It's gonna be episode 4, but I don't remember like when I started watching. But I do remember that my first Star Wars experience was watching all three, 4, 5, and 6 in
Hmm.
one go with my grandpa, because my grandpa was a huge fan of science fiction. He was a Trekkie and Star Wars. He was a fan of the Star Wars, and
So
I mean,
you guys had a
and
little buddy
Stargate.
head rivalry.
Yeah, yeah,
with
and
different properties. Like you guys like the different IPs. You and
and
Grandpa
it's
went
funny
head to
because
head a
like I'm
lot.
seeing these memes, and then, like it's funny because like I'm seeing these memes of like the Family Guy memes,
Mhm.
and Meg, and it's Peter, his son, and Brian, and it's like Star Trek, Star Wars, and then was another one,
Mhm.
and then like Meg was Stargate, and I'm just like, but that's me and my grandpa, we're all of them, and I'm like. But like anyway, so like I remember watching 4, 5, and 6 with my grandpa, and I was just like, dude, this is awesome. Like I have a sword made of light that cuts through anything. That's amazing. And spaceships, and the Millennium Falcon was just amazing. Super, it's like the fastest ship and all this. And it's funny because
Or at
well, yeah,
least a ship that actually came with some lore, some story, which
yeah,
actually
and
made it really cool.
yeah, it was
Because
awesome.
most of the time, okay, it's like, okay, this character has a small story, this character has a small story, but the ship actually has a story.
Oh yeah, and it looks, you can tell like it's been through so much, but
Hmm.
like you don't know anything, but and that was part of the mystery, and it was cool, and you know what, I back up. I mean, I'm in support of George Lucas for the decision he made of waiting for 1, 2, and 3
Hmm.
because um because of course like watching like 4, 5, and 6, and at that level of technology of one in the film
Yeah.
industry, like I mean it was awesome. It was, and as a kid, like I'm like, dude, this is amazing. And growing up, I'm like, yeah, these movies are cool, but like we have newer movies coming
Yeah.
out that have better
He
graphics, and
was
then
waiting.
finally,
He was waiting for the tech to catch up to him. I was actually watching one of the
yes.
documentaries on Disney Plus, and they were actually, or it
Oh
was,
yeah, the Mandalorian one,
yeah, it
right?
was
The
the
gallery.
Mandalorian one. Yeah, the
I
gallery
was
one. They
watching
were
that
actually
one.
saying that his thinking of what he wanted to do was ahead of where the tech was.
Yeah, he was
He
a
was
man of
having
ahead
to
of his
actually
time.
waiting for the tech to catch up to him, so he could do it.
Yeah, and I'm so glad he did because like finally when
It
when
gave
I
us
saw one,
justice.
2, and 3, oh
Yeah, that's actually when I started watching
yes,
the movies. Actually, I
that
got
was
into Star Wars kind of late. I got into high school because as a kid, watching cartoons, the Star Wars commercials for when the movies of 1, 2, and 3 were coming out, they annoyed me because I'm like, go off my screen, go back to my cartoons. I don't care about this. Go back to my cartoons. Get the commercials away from me.
yeah.
But then I started watching it in high school, and I'm like, oh, I'm actually loving this. And that's when I deep dived. I basically skydived without a parachute, free falled
Oh yeah, that
into
was
the
that was a
fandom
turning
of.
point for me too. Because I mean, like, because watching 4, 5, 6, I was like, this is awesome, and I was when
Mhm.
and I started watching Stargate too, and I was just like, and I'm a fan. I started to become a fan of science fiction, and
Mhm.
but then like when 1, 2, and 3 came out, I was just like,
Whoa.
Star Wars,
Right. And
like Darth Maul,
I'm such a little kid.
like.
More Jedi. Put more Jedi on the screen. I just want more Jedi.
Yeah, it was like it was awesome, and then after that, like that pod racing game came out, and I was
Hmm.
just like, and then I was like no lifing that, and then and then then more and more games started coming out, and I was like, this is awesome, and
So
then
Misha, tell me this: how excited are you for Squadrons?
I'm really excited, and I'm hesitant because
Why are you hesitant?
I like because it's a remaster, right?
No,
Or is it's a
Squadrons is a
remake?
no brand new game. It's supposed to be like a X-wing versus Tie Fighter
Oh, okay, okay,
successor.
okay.
It's a 5v5 battle, but there's actually going to be more than 10 ships flying at battling at the same time because there's going to be, I think they said about 5 ships, 5 NPC ships per person on the field too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, or I might be exaggerating a little bit. I need to look it up after this, but
No,
I
yeah,
think it
I was
was.
thinking of the Clone Trooper one
Oh,
that
you
was on
mean
the
Battlefront?
Xbox. No, 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 no,
Oh,
no. So
Clone
it
Trooper
was
one.
I'm trying to remember what it was called, but it was a squad of 4 clone troopers, and they were they were an
Mhm.
I want to say an
Oh,
infiltrating squad.
I think I roughly know what you're talking about. I don't know the
It
name,
had an
but I think I know what
amazing
you're talking about.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that that's what it was like, that like
No,
they were remaking it or something like
no,
that,
this
but
is supposed to be like matchmaking, CS:GO and ships, Star
it was
Wars, X-wing
what
Tie
they dubbed it
Fighter.
Project Maverick, right?
Possibly,
Because I
it
know
would
they
fit
gave
the
it a
game because
project name.
with Maverick, it fits with maybe the Top Gun theme of ships, air battles,
Yeah, I think
flight
yeah,
battles.
because I did remember seeing something that they had dubbed Project Maverick before they announced what the actual title was.
Mm-hmm.
But I was already excited just because of with the new like now what they can do with video games
Yeah.
and like in the new Battlefront 2, like I liked the Starship battles in that game,
I wish I would
and
have.
I was
I have it. I played the story. I played a little bit, but I should have got into it more. I should
oh
actually
Battlefront
play.
2.
Yeah, I should play it a lot more.
Oh, bro, it's still so much fun. Like
We
I
should
don't
stream a
play
little
it.
bit of that too.
Oh yeah. I
I'm
mean, I
just gonna
play
start
mostly on Xbox.
streaming a lot. You know I'm PC Master Race.
I know, no, I know. I'm gonna get it. Like, I want to say I already got it on discount, but
Mhm.
I've already. It's just like I've put in so much time and so many levels on that. But I mean, but like the flight like the flight combat in that
Mhm.
game was like really cool. So like when I heard about they're making like a
Mhm.
game just for the
For
space
this,
combat
yeah.
and all that, I
Oh,
was
and
like,
Mischo, we're
that's gonna
gonna
be
have
awesome.
to get joysticks for the game.
Oh no, I'm getting I'm getting the flight stick and the little
The throttle,
throttle.
thruster,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I was first introduced that when my grandpa
A flight
he
simulator
had
type
a
game.
yeah, he had a flight simulator type game, and I was just like, this is cool. Like, oh my God.
You mean I
And
can
then
actually
like
fly
yeah,
without a
and
mouse
like
and keyboard?
I kind of like that controller system.
Hmm.
And when I went to this was like years ago, but Dave and Buster's had that pod racing game that we
Oh,
play. They had
they had pod racing. No, they had actual like almost a flight one. You know,
well, no, they have one now. They have
oh,
one now, and I played it a little bit recently. I think it was like a year or two ago,
mhm.
and the trench run and
Oh yeah,
all
yeah.
that
That's
stuff.
I
But
know what you're talking about now. Yeah, that's the game I
yeah,
was
but
trying to say, but I couldn't just get it out there.
oh yeah. But like years ago, when 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 that Star Wars pod racing game came out,
Hmm.
they actually and Dave, I remember because we used to go. I mean, we used to go to the Dave Buster's quite a bit, but they had that pod racing game there, of course, with the big screen,
Hmm.
but they had the seat system was Anakin's actual pod,
No
and
way.
and the controls were the actual freaking handles like he has in the movie. And I
No
was just like,
way.
this is
That's...
amazing, and it just blew I was like, I love it. And
I
then
love the quote too.
yeah.
I
Oh
got
yeah,
that. I got
that's
that.
okay. So I'll be honest, like I just realized that that's what he says to him. That was unintended, but like I was just like, this is amazing, and I was loving it so much, and I was super. But like that control system, I love like when it was. I love that control system, and I was just like super sad. Like when the next time I went, it was gone.
Oh, it's like, where
I
did you
know.
put
I only
it?
got to play
Where
it
can I
once.
buy it?
That's why, like, you know what? That's gonna be like
Mhm.
one of my. That's gonna be one of my things. My little adult trophy later on is in my man cave. Is just I'm gonna have that
A pod
arcade in my.
racer.
Yes,
I just want a
that is a
pod
must.
racer.
Yeah, that is a must.
Oh, that's too funny. So, what kind of games are you playing lately?
Um, well, lately I've actually been trying to finish up Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Um, I was actor. I got started. Like the only like so like. I mean, I've been playing Assassin's Creed with my brothers since the first one. Without that year, and then like our favorite ones was with Ezio and that that whole series, his whole series
Hmm.
and story. And then like after that though, I kind of was on and off because there was
I heard Black Flag was kind
three.
of good, or really good.
Black Flag was amazing. The only games I ever actually finished was the first one, and then
Hmm.
Ezio's whole lineup.
Hmm.
And then three, I want to say I might be wrong, but I want to say three was I think when it was Connor, and he was the Native American one.
Hmm.
And then I played a little bit, because at the time I was that was when I was in Reset too, and
Okay.
I was going over to a friend's house, and we would kind of just hang out and play games. Um, and then I played a little bit, never actually went through, did everything, found everything, like complete the game.
Hmm.
And then I did the same thing with Black Flag. I actually played a lot more of Black Flag than I did of three, but never finished it, never did everything, never completed it. The last one that I like basically up through the whole lineup. The next one after the Ezios that I actually ended up completing was Syndicate.
Okay.
I actually liked Syndicate. Syndicate was
That's
interesting.
the one where they actually did multiplayer story, right? I
No,
can't
that was
remember.
Unity.
Oh, that's
Unity,
right.
that was Unity. I never actually played that one. Because it was a Black Flag, and then they came out with Unity, and there was another one after that. I didn't play either of those. My brother told me Unity was just dope as
Mm-hmm.
far as the multiplayer part because you just got to roll around with your boys and just assassinate people all
Yeah.
together. And I was like, I mean, that's a
Didn't
great
they have
concept, and
like a Templar assassin PvP type thing or mode?
yeah, it was. I think it
Too.
was something like that. But like the multiplayer aspect of it was just like cool. I
Mm-hmm.
think what kind of like killed it was it just had so many bugs.
Oh,
Um,
that's what
yeah,
gets so
it
many
was.
developers running
It
out of
was.
time
Yeah,
to
and,
fix
and
bugs
it
like
was
that.
notorious for bugs. But like the Syndicate was like the next one that I actually completed, and Syndicate was cool. You know, it was like a Victorian London, and
Mm-hmm.
it was grapples, zip lines, and he had music boxes that he had to collect to get the suit and whatnot. It was cool. I loved it. And then after that, Origins, I want to say it was Origins. Origin was the next one
Mm-hmm.
that I ended up completing. But like basically it was Syndicate, Origins, and like Origins was cool. I like it because it was a huge throwback.
Yeah.
Because from Altair they were progressively going forward. But then with Origins they threw it back, and I was like, that's dope. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of
Give them a
that's what
precursor.
like yeah, and like with these kind of games, at least with this kind of like this kind of game, like I liked the throwback.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
They have a lot of room to
game,
play with this kind of game, or
yes,
this with the
yeah.
story. They have a lot of room.
Yeah, like with shooters, like they've been doing with the Call of Duties, I don't like the throwbacks. I just want the modern combat with all the modern stuff, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I liked the throwback with this series. And then like Origins was cool. I completed most of it. I didn't get everything, but I completed most of the game,
Mm-hmm.
and the story was actually really cool. And then kind of seeing the whole why they cut the finger off for the hidden blade. Because I remember for watching, I was like, why are you gonna cut your finger off? Like, come on, man. Like, but like, it makes sense, to use the hidden blade. But and then Odyssey. Odyssey is my favorite by far,
I
just
hear the
because
story is really well done.
the story is awesome. But like what I love about it is that like I'm a huge fan of Greek mythology,
Mm-hmm.
and they had and like at first when I started playing it, I was just like, oh, I see what's going on. It's takes place, in the Greek world, but there's no
Mm-hmm.
actual like the Greek mythology as far as like the monsters and all that wasn't real up until I got farther into the
Mm-hmm.
game. Then I came up against a
There they are.
Cyclops and a Gorgon, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this game's amazing!" And
You
then I
basically
found,
progressed your way from being a normal townsperson, and in Odyssey it's like, okay, now we're gonna let you behind the curtain, the stuff you don't tell
yeah,
everyone about, the one that everything's are just stories. Come
yeah. And
follow
what's
me if you
crazy
want to
is,
see some crazy shit.
yeah, and like I don't know if I didn't see enough trailers of the game
Hmm.
or if like the
I think they
trailers
just
were
probably
just,
just hit it out.
yeah.
I
I
don't
can't
think
remember if that's how
the
it was,
best
but like that's what
story.
it felt like.
I think the best part of it is because I don't follow Assassin's Creed too much, but coming up to it, I don't think I ever heard anything about, oh, here are the little monsters, the mythology type stuff. It's like, oh, we're gonna let this be a surprise. You're gonna enjoy
Yeah, and
this.
and that was definitely what it ended up being for me. And like I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it was
Hmm.
awesome. It was like because I was just like, okay, this is cool. It's like because like in Syndicate, there's nothing. The only thing that is like supernatural is the artifacts.
Yeah,
The artifacts. I'm like, okay, like I'm like
there's
that's the
nothing
only
too
thing.
crazy.
Yeah, and that was my thinking going into Odyssey, and I'm like, well, you know what? It's still cool because I want to eventually do Odysseus's or kind of follow Odysseus's Odyssey in this
Yeah.
game, and that was like one of my favorite stories. Is his whole adventure,
Hmm.
and I mean that was like one of my first like I want to say Greek stories,
Yeah.
learning in school. I was like, that's so, and
Not
then,
to
when he
mention it's
gets,
the probably the most well known, one of the
yeah,
most well known stories ever. Not just Greek stories,
yeah,
the story that everyone knows about, even if
yeah,
they
I mean,
didn't like it too much. They
yeah.
actually at least know it
It's
for, to
like
a point.
right there, right above the whole Troy thing,
Yeah,
and I just love to, like, when he gets home, he freaking strings the bow that nobody can, string, and he just,
shapeshifted.
just
Yeah, it's like
yeah, oh man,
they're
I was
like
just
no one
seeing
can
that
do
movie,
it.
yeah, and I was just like, that's awesome.
Hmm.
But and then, like, I eventually got farther, and I found, and like, it was the first thing I did, or the first thing that I did was I found Poseidon's trident, and what was crazy is that it was on an island,
Hmm.
and I did this because I was just sailing around because I was like, this is awesome,
You're like, I'm just gonna
like,
have fun. I'm gonna explore.
yeah, and like I found a little island with a statue of Poseidon, and like right behind him was a little area like of little ruins, and there was a bunch of lions and stuff on there, and they were all level 40, and I was only like a level 8. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And
I'm
I'm
gonna
like,
get
ooh,
wrecked.
yeah. So I'm like, I'm gonna. There's a chest there. I wanna find out what's in there. So like, I kind of, if I used Icarus to scout it out and mark everything, and then I was like, all right, let's see what I can do here. And like, I know I somehow distracted them. Oh, okay. So what it was is I actually went around the back of the island because there was one lion by itself back there that took me forever to take out, but I saw that I could take him out and the other lions wouldn't see me. And I was like, if I can take him out, I can actually sneak in there, grab the chest, and sneak out, and they wouldn't even notice. And it worked out. It was time consuming, but it eventually worked out perfectly. And I got his trident, and I was like, wait, this is so cool. I was like, wait, it's got an ability. And like in the game, you can actually, like, once you acquire a weapon or gear with an ability, you can actually eventually give other equipment that same ability.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, so I was like, that's an interesting concept. And like and then a little side note, the other thing, the part of the also thing I was kind of excited about Odyssey was after Origins and they started talking about Odyssey, they actually said that they actually were basically turning Odyssey into a low key RPG, and I was
Hmm.
like, ooh, that got my attention. But and it was cool, but like the Poseidon. So getting back to Poseidon's trident, um, the ability on that thing was you can breathe underwater,
Hmm.
and I was like, and like most of the game, and like half the stuff you find in the game is in the water, and
Hmm.
of course, and if you don't have that ability, you have to go up
You're
and down,
up and
get
down. Yeah.
air. So I was just like, oh, this is just perfect at such a low level. And it was just awesome. And then eventually I started progressing through the game, and
Hmm.
then I came across a Cyclops and a Gorgon, and what was another beast? Oh, what blew my mind? This is actually the first one I ran into. I didn't come across the Cyclops until the Cyclops were like my what, fourth or fifth monsters I came
Hmm.
across. The very first one, man, and you're gonna get a laugh out of this. The very first one I ran into was a freaking Sphinx. I
Nice.
was I was just like,
Of all
I'm
damn
not.
things, I got the Sphinx.
I was like, I know how this is gonna go. He's gonna give me a riddle, a ridiculous riddle that's hard to, and I'm just gonna die because I can't figure it
Yeah.
out. And that was kind of what happened. So like,
You could have given me the
yeah,
charging bull man. You
yeah,
could have given me the witch that likes to turn me to stone. You gotta give me the
yeah,
thanking one.
yeah. And I'm just like, that's
I'm
awesome.
not
Like I
here to
can't.
think this much.
And I was like, I can't get the Minotaur. Like, come on, it's easy. It's in a maze. You fight him, and that's it.
Exactly.
No,
I
I
could
had to
do
get
with
the
a hack and
Sphinx.
slasher. I'm not ready
Of,
for a mind game.
of all the creatures, the mythical creatures of the Greek world, I had to get the Sphinx.
I'm
Like,
here
come
to
on.
box, but
I was,
for some
uh,
reason, we're now in the middle of. Oh, I had the movie in my head. That Leo
well,
movie, the crazy one that everyone loved.
the Leo movie.
Yeah, the one that he didn't win an Oscar for. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh,
Inception. I'm here to box, but you put me into Inception. Come on, guys.
yeah. I was just, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. And I had to, I can't remember if I know I looked up like the different paths you can take in that situation because
Hmm.
it's a low key RPG, so you had a couple choices of like you can either fight it or you can answer its questions, and like I tried to and it killed me, and I was like, all
Do you
right, I'm just
remember
gonna
any
look
of the
it up.
questions?
No, I wish I could like I
I'll just
wanted
have to look it up later.
yeah, I know. I
It's
was
like,
just like I could
how
look it up right
big are
now and
these
tell, but
riddles?
no, they were interesting. I do remember that, and I was just like I was frustrated, and I was just like okay, you know what? I'm just gonna look this up, and I was like, and I did. I remember I did try to fight him, and then I was not. Yeah, I was no. It didn't go
Come
out
here,
well.
pretty
It didn't go
boy.
well.
Bam.
Yeah, it
Just gonna
didn't go
knock you
well. So
out.
I had to look up the answers, and I was like, I'm just gonna answer his questions, and
Move
move and be on
on.
my way.
Otherwise, I'm gonna be stuck here forever.
Yeah, and that was fun. And like now, like and it was funny, but like yeah, so like the story is really great. Like I don't want to,
Too
talk
many
about. I don't
spoilers.
want to. Yeah, I'm gonna try and avoid it as much as I want to talk about it and tell you how
We can
awesome it
talk
is.
about it off interview, so we don't ruin
Yeah,
it for
but
everyone else.
yeah, but yeah, the story is really amazing, and there's actually like three different storylines to follow.
Hmm.
And there's or two, and then the third one was kind of like DLC, but um, the, yeah, the stories were amazing, and of course, and like what it was cool is it had definitely had, and it definitely because they said that it's a low key that they made it a low key RPG.
Hmm.
It definitely had that Skyrim feel of being able to complete, do whatever you want,
So
where
really
where you
open world,
want.
turning
Yeah,
into a
and that
real
was
open world RPG.
it was really cool. Like it was kind of almost like they took the best aspects as far as the story and the open world
Hmm.
from Skyrim, and then they kind of just meshed that in with the Assassin's Creed world.
That's
And
awesome.
it
Speaking of open worlds, have you ever played, or did you get the chance to play Breath of the Wild?
oh, I finally finished it, sort of.
Sort of.
I haven't got all the shrines yet. I
Hmm.
haven't got all the Kokoro seeds, but I did finally get all the I finally freed all the beasts and finally took on Ganon and yeah, with the help of the beast, fighting Ganon was not that hard, but it also wasn't that easy either.
Mm.
But I mean, as long as you pay
It was a
attention,
nice little
like
help.
yeah, and as long as you pay attention, it's manageable. And but it was really cool.
Hmm.
I loved it. I really did. I just I don't know, like
Was the
it
story as
was
good as it? I hear. Because I've never played it. I don't have a Switch, so I'm never gonna get to play it.
no.
Or
So
what did it make it so awesome that everyone was just like, "Oh my god, this
I think
is
the
a
fact that it
great
was
game."
I think the fact that it was open world
Hmm.
and kind of the similar. I mean, they this. I wouldn't say the story was like out of this world or like super amazing, just
Hmm.
because it's a Zelda game,
It's
you
no
would
Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask type of thing. Because I hear those
yeah,
are
like
two of the aren't
the
those like two
the
of the
the
biggest
goal is
games.
still the same. You got to take on Ganon and help out the princess or free the princess, but eventually you got to do things around in the world to increase your odds against Ganon.
Hmm.
And so like that would but I think what a lot of people loved about the game was all the other stuff outside of that. As
All
far
the
as like,
mini stuff, the mini stories that you can possibly find, just
yeah,
not
and
being
then and
led
then
on a certain path. You're
yes,
free
being
to
able to
find
go where you
everything.
want and learning about about other characters because there is a story to as far as what led to the Calamity Ganon,
Hmm.
or at least what led to Calamity Ganon taking over. There's a bunch of champions, blah blah blah. But as you're progressing through the game and you're traveling the world, you actually get to learn about those champions.
Hmm.
And I think it was their stories and the stories of all the other NPCs and the villages that you come across that I think what made the game, rather than just like I would, cause like because like as far as like just the game itself, it's
Hmm.
you gotta take on Gan, but you gotta go around and get stronger and how and do things to increase your odds and free the world from Ganon again.
Yeah.
but yeah, it was everything else outside of that that really made the game, and just being able to do what you want, and so many other smaller things throughout the game, that kind of really made it amazing. And I think the other thing too that people, a lot of gamers get a kick out of, is the way the mechanics work. Because if you go on Reddit and you go through you go on the Breath of the Wild thread,
Hmm.
there are so many gamers doing amazing things that I never could have even
Thought of.
imagined. And like, and especially completing, because some of the shrines, they have challenges and puzzles that you have to do, and just me myself going through them, it took me a lot of time just to figure out these puzzles and stuff.
Hmm.
And I'm going, after I finished the game, I started following that thread, and looking at all the posts, and I'm seeing all these people creatively taking shortcuts around these challenges, and it's only taking, I mean, probably figuring the part or figuring out those shortcuts probably took some time, but once they did it, it was the actual shortcut itself was like seconds. It's where like they stasis something and they hit it a bunch of times, and they stand on it, and the thing once it comes out of stasis goes flying, and they go with it right to where you need to go. And I'm just like, well, that took me like an hour to get to.
Well,
But
it's like I wish I would have thought of this.
yeah. And
It would have
but
knocked
I
an
think that's,
hour of my playtime off the board right there.
yeah. And like and that's, I think, like that's one of those that's just one of the aspects of the game
Right.
that really made it amazing. It's just that freedom of being able to do that. and
It literally
and
gave you the freedom of adventure.
yeah, it's just
Which is
awesome.
probably what a lot of Zelda fans were most excited for.
Yeah, because like, I mean, Ocarina was awesome, but it can feel linear at times,
Hmm.
but it's a classic, and but I mean, and I believe we all can agree that fuck the water temple.
Unfortunately, I was never much of a Nintendo fan, so I never played any of the
Ah,
Zeldas outside of maybe not Wind Waker, which is the one that you were in the dream.
in a dream?
Yeah, where you're in where you're on a raft or something and you're trying to wake up the egg, the big egg on the top of the mountain.
Oh man, I
They
f-
just
I
did a
wa-
remake of this several years back too.
Oh no, okay, I'm drawing a blank, because like the only other like Zelda game that I liked was Wind Waker,
Hmm.
but I know there was
It was
uh
originally a Game Boy or a Game Boy Color game, or a GBC
okay,
game. Yeah,
all right, now it's ringing a bell. I just don't remember what it's called
yeah.
now, because
But I even only got like 3 bosses in, and I'm like, not my game. But I loved pissing off the chickens, and I loved stealing from the shopkeeper.
oh yeah.
I was always known as thief.
Yeah, every and like playing and like especially with Ocarina, like playing it again recently, and throwing the chickens around and stuff,
Hmm.
like what the thing that pops up in my head was chicken chaser from what do you call it, from we were just talking about it, Fable.
Hmm.
And how Fable, because Fable, you can kick the chickens around and stuff, and then they call you chicken chaser
Chaser.
as a title and stuff. So like throwing the chicken around, it kind
The
of
little
just
mini
yeah, it
mini
just
Easter
rings
eggs
a
for
bell in my
yourself.
head.
You're like, I love
Yeah.
this. Oh,
Yeah,
speaking
and
of
just
nicknames, did Jaime ever tell you how he got his nickname or the nickname Insane Thief, or
I,
how he came up with it?
I, f- I want to say I asked him, but I can't remember now.
He actually said it in last week's interview. It was actually because one of his favorite games are the Sly Cooper games.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, Sly Cooper gave him
Okay,
the
yeah.
the thief name.
I never got to actually like play
Ask
those
him.
games, but they looked cool. They
Hmm.
did.
Yeah, he
And I
said
was
that
kind
was
of
one of his favorite games. He played the heck out of them. So
okay.
much.
Yeah, I remember there was a lot of games. There was a lot of games I didn't get to play as a kid, just growing up, because my family, we weren't, we were kind of poor, but
Hmm.
my dad, he made sure that we had something, and he did what he could for us. and
Yeah, he provided as
and
much as he could.
yeah, and one of those things, was like the Dreamcast. And what was cool was on the Dreamcast, the game we played a lot, and this is kind of what brought us together, was the spawn into the demon's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because when I tell people that, they're like, "What, Spawn?" And they think Spawn,
The
the
superhero
murderous. Yeah, well, it's sort of the superhero.
or
They see
anti-hero.
yeah, like this guy that like kills people and is from hell, blah blah blah. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
well, yes and no, but like it's not as bad as like as they know Spawn to be, like
Yeah.
because that game it's more of an arcade, it's an arcade game.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a single or two player arcade mode where you basically just fight boss after boss after boss.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the final boss is a super cheese. And
Super
but
shoes.
yeah, like it's one hit and he's dead. It's like what's up with that? But I mean
Almost
it's an
like
old
how they did with what's it called, Shadows of Mordor. It's like,
yeah.
so the first boss is going to be the toughest. The next one's a stealth game,
Yeah.
and the last one, I'm just pressing these three buttons and I'm done.
Yeah, super
In order,
sad.
it's like, oh, speaking of Shadow of Mordor,
Yeah.
Jaime still needs to complete that game. He still
The
hasn't.
first one, right?
The
He
first one,
hasn't hit.
he has
Oh
not
man.
got past Rat Bag.
I was like,
He didn't
I'm
even
still
go into the
working on.
second zone. It's like,
Oh
for the second zone is
man.
actually where you get the fun. The fun
Yeah,
is
like
in the second zone where you're not on the path. You are free. Do as you
yeah.
wish.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, man, and like I get it too, cause like starting a new game and trying to get, especially if like especially if like the beginning's kind of slow, and I get that,
Yeah, but
but like
Ratbag actually was
push
funny. I love
push through
Ratbag. He
it.
was actually so funny.
No, he was cool. He was definitely and that was what I loved about it, cause
Hmm. It
and
was a
that
comedic relief
they
that was actually really cool.
yeah, but he was also that cowardly orc,
Yeah. It's like,
and
okay,
they
we'll get you along with this.
yeah, and they kind of like they grabbed that essence of him in that character in that game, which was so cool.
Hmm.
Um, but like yeah, I was like, I mean, like and I tell him like you gotta push through it, just gotta get through it. It's slow in the beginning, but once you get through it, it's so much fun.
Yeah. I also told him it's like, don't get your high hopes for Shadows of War if you play it, because I still haven't finished it, but it's, for me it's been just so easy. I don't know if it gets
Yeah,
tougher
I'm
later
I'm
on, but at least the beginning I'm like, why is this so freaking easy? Maybe do I need to turn up the difficulty? Is there a difficulty slider?
yeah, like I'm still getting through. I'm still working my way through. Was a Shadow of War, and it definitely, as far as the combat, like I know, like when I first started playing it, and which was like I think around when it first launched,
Yeah,
like I
years
don't know
ago.
why, but it was difficult for me. I was getting frustrated, and I made slow. I kept pushing through it, but I was making slow progress, and then,
Oh
and
really? I was like
eventually.
hard capping on these orcs or any of these other
Yeah.
tribes.
So,
I'm like,
and I
well, I
was,
guess you're
and
just gonna die at my feet now. Tiptoe
well,
over the
yeah.
dead bodies.
Yeah, and then like I was, I kept, and I was like, I tell people this, keep pushing. I kept telling myself I
Hmm.
keep pushing through it, and then eventually other games came out, and I, kind of got pulled away. And then like I think like a year or two ago, I finally came back to it, and now it's a lot easier, and
Hmm.
and I'm throwing these guys around, I'm grappling, and I'm executing them, I'm doing all these
Maybe
finishes,
we
and
need to find the difficulty slider.
yeah, and now I'm finessing them, and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, this it's still fun, and
Hmm.
and what got me hooked, or at least interested in playing it, was the fact that um you can brand one of the dragons and
Oh, you
use
can.
yeah
And
and
knowing
ride them
you, the big
around.
dragon fan, you're like, I love this so much.
Yes. And like when I saw that, and it was crazy because when I first started playing, I never got to that part, but when I finally got back into it, I finally found one, and I was just like, "Get over here," and I'm like, "You're mine," and I finally, freaking finessed the dragon, or
Hmm.
Drake as they name him in there, and I used one of them
Oh, you know
to,
Drake's just baby dragons.
yeah,
It's like,
that's
can you
exactly,
grow
it's the
up? I
same
want a
thing,
Smaug.
a Smaug,
I
it's the
need
same
Finn.
thing.
Where can I find Smaug? Can I find the Lonely
Yeah.
Mountain real quick? I need to go brand
Right?
him.
Yeah, like bring him over here. And it was cool, and I haven't finished it yet, but like I've made some pretty good progress through it. But yeah, I got pulled
Hmm.
away from that by other games too, because
Well,
I yeah,
nowadays, well, this might be a little slower year because of COVID. which actually might be kind of nice. So you can get back into the games that
Yeah,
you've been on the
and
shelf.
I
You've
think
been shelving a little bit.
yeah, and like I mean between my three platform or now four, um, like I have so many games and I'm like, well, okay, I'll start on like my
It's the
console
curse of
ones and
choice.
yeah,
Like I have so many choices. What
yeah,
do I
girls are like,
do?
"Oh, I don't know what to wear, and boy, I'm definitely like, I don't
And
know
you're
what
over
to
here. I don't
play,
know.
and like, but yeah, I'm like now I'm starting to get back to some of those games,
Mhm.
and I kind of got pulled away from it again, but I know I'm eventually go back to it because I was on and off with Odyssey, and I finally
Mhm.
stuck with it, and I got most of it finished. I just have like the DLC to
Yeah.
finish, and then after that, I'm not sure what I'm gonna get to. But as far as like multiplayer, I know me and my brother, we always come back to PUBG and
Yeah.
Smite, and
Two
right
classics you can
now,
just chill together real quick.
yeah, well, I mean, Smite's not much of a chill game. It can be
Well, chill.
stressful.
It's you and him just chilling.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, yeah,
when
yeah.
once
Playing
you
together
deep
and
dive, it's
stuff.
like, oh, okay, time to go.
Yeah.
I think I'm the same way
and
with I don't know why, but League of Legends trying to get back into it, I'm like, okay, why is my anxiety going up? Why do I feel like I'm in the race car? My heartbeat's going a mile a minute as if I'm driving the race car around me.